Hello, hello. I hope you all are having a wonderful week. So today we're going to dive in to getting clients fast. And let me rewind for a second. I'm Ray Huck. I'm a virtual assistant coach and the founder of Posh Operations. And so I'm passionate about helping women become virtual assistants and scale their virtual assistant business. And I'm always hearing from people, whether you're brand new in the VA world or maybe you've been here for a while, it can be a struggle to get clients, but I'm going to share some tips today about how to get clients fast because especially if you're starting out, we want to be bringing in that income, right? Like we're running a business, we need revenue. So I've mentioned it last week a little bit about what to do when people post in Facebook groups and kind of the process behind really standing out, because our goal is to stand out. We want to be easily picked out of, the 50 people who apply for that job. So I'm going to touch base again a little bit at the end of the video and how to really go about that in the right way, because I see it often. People are not doing it correctly. And as someone who has hired a lot of people, especially people who apply within a Facebook group, it can become a lot. And there's an easy way to just mark yourself off the list and not be considered. And I don't want that to happen to you. So one thing is, if you truly want to find clients, and like I always say, I don't want you signing just any client, right? We want to sign those ideal clients, those champagne clients, the ones who respect us. They pay our invoices on time, right? We don't want to have that scarcity mindset where we're just signing anyone. And it doesn't matter to us, like, can they actually pay us? Or, do they actually have a business? And not that people have to have a business to hire a VA. However, we do need to have some parameters around how we spend our time and making sure that we're honoring ourselves, we're honoring our business alongside with our client's business. And what I want you to do first is to really utilize your network. And whether that is Facebook, LinkedIn, IG, and local groups that you're in, tell people what you're doing. Don't be shy about it. Don't worry that someone's going to join or judge you because you're now working remotely. You're now running your own business. Like, this is something to be proud of. It's something to be excited about, because being a virtual assistant is awesome, right? And so when someone says, "Oh, what do you do?" I want you to say it with confidence. I want you to say, "I'm a virtual assistant. I'm a social media manager," whatever it is that you do, right? Be confident in that, because they might not know what you do. And if they don't know, they can't share it with others, right? People need to know what you're doing. And maybe that person doesn't own a business. They work a 9 to 5 and they're completely happy in that. And that's wonderful for them. But they might know other people who own a business who were like, "Oh, I really need to hire a VA." Well, now this person that you've told that you're a virtual assistant, they can be like, "Oh, I know so-and-so and they're amazing. And this is actually what they do," right? So we need to make sure that people know we are doing this, and you need to be sharing it with your network, okay? Because if they don't know, then they're not going to do anything. And referrals are such an amazing way to gain really, really great clients, because they've already been vetted a little bit, right? Like, if we trust this person that we've told, or at least, think they're pretty good, most likely their network is at the same level, or maybe even a little bit, better or more successful than them, right? So this is a huge way. And like I always say, referrals are golden. They're the best way to bring on anyone new within your business. Now, when we're doing this, we do want to be confident in what we offer, okay? And that doesn't mean you need to have multiple levels of offers, but have an idea of the type of work you want to do. Because if they say, like, "Oh, well, what do you offer in that?" We want to at least have kind of like the elevator pitch, right? We want to have an idea of the services that we provide, or what our focus is in, or if we have a niche, like, "Oh, I work with real estate agents," or "I work with business coaches or online entrepreneurs or small business owners." It doesn't have to be like super small, but just have an idea of who you want to work with and really be clear in that. Because if that person knows, "Oh, Rachel really knows herself in real estate," then I'm going to be the go-to person that that person's going to consider when they're ready to hire a VA, right? They're instead of like a general VA, which they would be able to find a general VA who can figure it out, but you're going to be at the top of the list when you're really clear with what you offer. And I've said this many times, but I don't want you guys to think that you don't have experience just because you haven't been a virtual assistant before. You have experience in your life, whether it's your schooling or it's past jobs or volunteer work. This is all experience that you can utilize within your virtual assistant business. And if you're struggling to figure out how to utilize that experience in creating your offers, I do have a free virtual assistant guide, and I walk you through that process. So really the point here is that when people ask what you do, be confident in it. Our confidence comes through, it gives us a certain type of energy. And if we're not confident in ourselves, we don't trust what we offer, then why should they trust what we offer, right? We have to believe in it first. And then the next thing I want you to focus on as you're trying to find these ideal clients is, where are you spending your time hanging out, right? If your ideal client is primarily on LinkedIn, then you should be primarily on LinkedIn. If they're on IG, but you get the picture, right? We need to figure out where these people are hanging out and just start networking with them. Let them know what you do. And it doesn't have to be a sales pitch. It's just, oh yeah, this is what I do. And then get to know them, because when they're ready, you've already built that relationship. Now, here's another great tip that has worked really well for me when I was doing the virtual assistant work, is network with the hiring managers. And that doesn't mean that their title has to be like recruiter or hiring manager. It could be just the manager of the company or the OBM, right? The online business manager, because oftentimes those are the people who do the hiring within the business. It's if the CEO is not the only person in their business, right? The business owner, if they have a team, most likely they're delegating the hiring process off to someone on their team. Maybe they're the last step, maybe they do the last interview. That's common in small businesses. However, if you can start building those relationships for the people who are going to be responsible for bringing on new team members, you already have your foot in the door, right? Like, so we really want to just start being social and just getting ourselves out there, being excited about what we're doing. And I don't want you to stress about marketing until you get to a certain place in your business, because your form of marketing in the very beginning needs to be networking and, reaching out to it could be former employers, and just say, hey, this is what I do. If someone comes along and they're looking for this service, I would love for you, to help me make that connection, or whatever that looks like. But don't stress about making reels and TikToks and making sure your Instagram looks perfect, right? Unless you're a social media manager, there's, different things that your social should look good if you're a social media manager. But in general, if you're a virtual assistant, you don't need to have perfect marketing. It's more about who you know in the industry, regardless of really what stage you're at, right? And making sure that you really care about people. Ask them how you can help, right? Just be supportive, show that, show your character, show your values, show that you know your stuff, but it's not always about that dollar, that you really are passionate about that support and what you provide. Now, going back to the Facebook group application thing, or really any application, I want you guys to make sure that you're following the directions. So when I was hiring for the former businesses that I was working for, I would post these job openings, and you've seen it, you get like 170 replies. And then the hiring manager now has to go through and sort through every single one of those. So you want to make sure that you listen to what they say and read the job description. So many people put these little things in there, like, answer this question with the word parrots, or there's some weird stuff out there, but making sure that you read it and you catch that, because that's going to filter a ton of people out, because the amount of people who apply for jobs who don't actually read the job description is huge. It's kind of mind-blowing, right? So take your time. Don't feel like you have to apply the second you see that thing pop up. Usually applications are, they're open for a time period. So really research the job, research the business, figure out like what they really need, and making sure that you are a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you. And I know I talk about that too much, But then, a lot of positions are going to ask for a 3-minute video introducing yourself. Why are you the best person for this business? And I want you to take that part serious. I want you to think through what you're going to say. I want you to look nice in that video. Be aware of what's behind you. Don't have like a pile full of dirty dishes in the back, or, your kid's underwear, whatever it is. Just take some time. It doesn't have to be fancy. You could do it in front of a blank wall. But just take your time and really making sure that you're presenting your best self in any kind of proposal or application you put out there, because you're going to put yourself at the top of the list if you take that time and do a really good job. Because there are so many applications come through that people, you can tell they don't even actually know what the job is that they're applying for. Their answers make no sense. It's not related to what I was hiring for. And so they're automatically off the list. Even though they might have been a great candidate, they didn't set themselves up for success, right? So my biggest tips here are just network, making sure that you're focusing your time on that end result. And in this case, your end result is signing a client. And if we're not social, if we're not connecting with people, they're not going to know what we do. They're not going to know who we are. And don't spend your time scrolling. Spend your free time. If you really want to sign a client, spend your time focusing on that. And then when you do find a potential client, take the time to make sure it's a good fit. Take time to make sure that, they seem like they're respectful. They're going to honor you. They're going to pay you. And then in return, I want you to spend time on that proposal or application and do whatever they're asking for. One thing here is if they say, do not DM me, do not DM them. Okay. And if they don't say anything about DMing me, most likely they're going to tell you how to apply. And if they tell you applications here, you follow that and just be very respectful. Sometimes they'll give you the email. You can send them a really nice email and you can have follow-up. So if you apply and you haven't heard back from them in 5 days and the application is closed, send a nice check-in email. It shows that you're on top of it, that you're organized, and that you're serious about this position. But just be very careful about the DMs unless they've asked for that. As someone who's hired people, you'll get like 20 DMs just spamming your inbox. So most likely they wouldn't even see that DM in the first place. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know where you're at in your journey. If you are really looking for clients, Posh Operations does source online jobs every single week. So if you want access to that list, it's free. Just let me know and I can get you on there. Otherwise, I will put the link to that virtual assistant guide to help you work through some of your offers if you don't have offers yet. But otherwise, have a great day and thank you.